My name's Rhys Davis. I'm a composer and sound designer working in theatre, film and television, gallery installation and online. To signify the visual text with sound accompaniment, including Foley sound, atmospheric sound and dialogue, and to compose incidental music depending on what the project is, whether it's a corporate or whether it's a movie. I mean, I didn't. I took a different route, but my students, because I've never had a lesson in sound, it was all self-taught or industry trained, but my students, they'll either go and do a postgraduate. So one of my students this year has just gone to the National Film School to do sound design, or Bournemouth, or they will use their show reel and get a runner job and then work in the sound department. A lot of them, I mean, another one was boom swinging for the BBC. Every single sound that you hear or see in a film is not actually recorded live on set. So every time somebody puts their iPhone down on a chair, like that, we're not recording that sound. It'll be me with something similar, with a big screen with that shot and a microphone, and me timing it so it matches in. So every fist punch, every footstep, every slurp of tea, every explosion, every single sound that you hear is done by somebody like me in post-production. And a Foley artist is an artist who records or signifies action sounds. So footsteps, fights, skateboarding, it doesn't really matter. It'll be somebody with a microphone. Well, if you Google Jurassic Park Foley, you'll see a clip of that. And the Foley artist is explaining how the sound was. And it's basically ice cream cornets, wafers that are being broken for the egg, with a pineapple and a cloth and slime to get the slithery sound. And you see the picture, and you're actually doing the sound to action. So there's that. That's the funnest stuff, and my students love doing all of that at college. And the rest is creating atmospheres, going on location, creating libraries, in order then to signify the whole visual text with sound. Because nobody thinks about sound. Nobody thinks about it at all. Nobody comes here to do sound. Nobody comes to my college to do sound, because the best sound design is sound that is not noticed on a conscious level.
My name's Alan Smith. I'm a lighting cameraman. I started at Bournemouth College of Art and did 3 years as a degree there. Then I went to work at the BBC and never worked for anybody else. So I was very lucky that most of my career was at the BBC. The issue is pay. At the BBC, you're a staff member and you get a salary, and your money goes into the bank account every month. You don't have to put in any invoices, you don't have to do anything. It was brilliant. As a freelancer, you have to think about everything, and you really do have to think about money. And you need to know what your rate is, you need to fight for that, you need to then chase people for payment, because 4 weeks will go by and you still won't have been paid for that 1 or 2 days you've done. So it's a hard world when you're freelance, and you have to think of a lot more things than you did when you were at the BBC. Don't think a university degree would be the right thing. If you were going to do some kind of further education, I would suggest an art school. Something like this course you're doing at the moment is perfectly good, perfectly good. When you leave this, you need to have something to say, I have done this course, I have done that, I've done a cross-section of all sorts of things, from script writing to lighting to sound, cameras, all those sort of things. You need them under your belt before you leave here. You need something like that. Don't just stick to one vocation. Drama is a massive circus of people. So you've got about 7 or 8 different departments. You've got just camera and sound, obviously. You've got lighting. You've got design, and that includes wardrobe and makeup. You've got a massive lighting department that I would be in control of. And then you've got the production team, which involves script supervisors, producers, executive producers, and then beyond all the production work, there's the editing and post-dubbing and all that. So it's a massive list of credits that have to be put on a drama, whereas a documentary could be as little as 2 or 3 people. And then my advice is simply try not to do too much for nothing. You'll be asked to do work for nothing because it's good experience, inverted commas. Yes, you will have to get the experience, but all I'm saying to you is you cannot afford to do that. You cannot afford to pay rent and rail fare and eat if you don't get paid. But there's an awful lot of production companies out there that will ask you to do stuff for nothing. Well, how long do you go on like that for? So you set yourself a target of, say, 3 or 6 months and say, yeah, okay, I will do, and hope your parents can support you. And then from there on, you can say, well, look, I need expenses then. I need to be able to get in the car and drive to the location at 5 in the morning. If you want me there at 5, then how do I get there? There's no public transport. There's a lot of things that production don't think about, and it's you guys that suffer. But at the end of the day, the reward is fantastic. If you can get yourself into a production and you really enjoy it, then you're made. And really what you've got to do is enjoy this work, because if you don't enjoy your job, then there's no point doing it.
What exactly have you worked on?
What films I worked on? First film I worked on would have been probably TV, actually. Some TV episodes, period episodes, BBC dramas. I can't remember the first film I worked on was either Gladiator or Star Wars. I can't remember which came first. And Troy, Alexander. There's so many I can't actually remember them. Some of them you might make, like Alexander was massive for me. It was £55,000 worth of work. Wow. And we had to do it in 6 weeks. So that was massive. The day that had finished, worked on King Arthur, 150 quid. So it's a bit of a,
the payment is a bit weird.
Yeah, it depends on the film. And the costume budget for Alexander was massive. Yeah. And I've worked on TV series where the entire series has been less than the costume budget for Gladiator. Yeah. And that's, so it depends what you get. Sometimes they're phoning you up and saying, oh, can you do this? We've only got 50 quid. It is like that. And other ones are a lot better.